You create your reality. What do I mean by that? Well, right here, I have a little depiction of what I mean by that. So, this is you, okay? See how you're like enamored? This is like you saying, whoa. This is your inner world here. And what I mean by your inner world is your heart and your mind. It's your internal state. It's your belief systems. It's your programming. It's your emotions, your well-being. This is your inner world, okay? This is your outer world. So this is like the earth, right? But your outer world consists of many things. It could be your business. It could be your relationship. It could be your circumstances in general. It could be your art. It could be your content. Literally any single thing in the outer world. It could be your body. Anything that's in this physical 3D, like the 3D plane. So, in the world, we have the spiritual plane, the mental plane, and the physical plane, right? And so the outer world is the physical plane, and the inner world are the spiritual. Actually, no. Yeah, there we go. So the inner world is the spiritual and mental plane, and then the outer world is the mental and the physical plane. Now, what do I mean by the outer world is the mental plane? We're going to get there. But basically, we're going to get there. I was going to try to jump there, but let me explain this first. We're going to get there. Trust. Okay? Yeah, we totally never got to it. I'm here in the edit, and I didn't talk about it the rest of the video, so I'm gonna just talk about it too fizzy. So basically what I was referring to is the first law of Hermeticism, which is the law of mentalism, which is that the all is mind and all is mind. And so the all is what the Hermetists refer to as God. So the all, God is mind, and all is mind. And so basically what that means is that our world is mind, it is mental. And so basically, everything in our reality is the mind of God. Spirit is the infinite living mind of God. That's what the Hermetists believed, at least. And I like to adopt that belief myself. On like the quantum physics side, they like to say that the quantum field, or like consciousness, is like the quantum mind. That's also what they refer to consciousness as. And so, God's mind, regardless, whatever. Basically, we have the spirit plane, which is like the highest plane, right? Which is like the highest level of mind. And then we have the mental plane, which is a lower level of mind. And we have the physical plane, which is the like lowest level of mind. And so basically these levels of mind or levels of consciousness reflect the consciousness. And they reflect the frequency of the consciousness, how fast the consciousness is vibrating, how fast it's moving. The higher up the plane, the faster the consciousness. The faster the consciousness, the faster the frequency, the higher the consciousness, which is the higher the plane. The lower the frequency, the lower the consciousness, which is, the lower the plane. And so basically, when it comes to the law of mentalism, it says that, I had like the inner versus outer world. The inner world is the spirit and the mental plane. And our mind is like our version of the mental plane. It's our conscious. Our conscious mind is the mental plane. The outer world is also the mental and the physical plane. And it's the mental plane because the subconscious mind and the superconscious mind, God's mind, is our outer world, right? And that's how it's mental as well. And so the physical reality, right, is merely our subconscious. And it's a reflection of our conscious. It's a reflection of us, what's inside of us. So that's what I mean by that, when I said that, it's like mind and mentalism and spirit and mental versus mental and physical. mentalism is important. So hope you got a decent understanding of that. If you want to learn more about that, I have other videos on my channel about Hermeticism. There is, I can't remember a good one to think of right now, but if you go to my second channel, actually, check out the description of my second channel. I made 3 videos on that channel. I believe it's a video called, fuck, I forgot. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't remember actually. But if you want to learn more about Hermeticism or mentalism, just go look it up. So basically, when I say that you create your reality, I mean that your inner world, your emotional well-being, your spirit, your mental, right, your heart, your mind, these things will create your external reality. And this is what's called the mirror principle. And what the mirror principle says is that your inner world, your internal state, will project outside of you into your outer world, or your external reality. That your external reality, your outer world, is merely a reflection of the mirror, right? It's a reflection of the inner world, the internal state, the mind, the beliefs, the programming, the heart, the emotions. And so if we want to change our external reality, our business, our relationships, our circumstances, our art, our content, our body, if you want to change anything in the 3D plane, in the physical plane, we have to first start in the spirit or the mental planes. We have to first start with the inner world. Here's the thing, guys, like, let's get a new drawing up, actually. Let's get a new drawing up. So this is the mirror. The only thing that the mirror can do is reflect. That's it. A mirror can only reflect what it's looking back at it, right? I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? Hold up. Can you see me in the window right here? Yo, gang, what's poppin'? The word, right? You see that? So that's the reflection. A mirror can only show you what it is seeing. And so people see something in their outer world that they don't like, and they try to change the outer world, not knowing that distorting the mirror isn't changing what the mirror is reflecting, right? Changing the mirror, like breaking the mirror, trying to change what the mirror looks like, right? And so maybe it was like, oh yeah, you're trying to like break it up so it's like that. But you're changing the mirror. This is still the exact same, but you're changing the mirror so the outer world looks different. This is only further distorting you, further putting you into the illusion. This is what it's like when you're taking like misaligned action. When you're trying to do something, you're trying to change, you're trying to make progress, you're trying to grow, right? I've been on my own personal development journey for 15 months. And over these past 15 months, I've learned a lot. And I've had to program myself with new beliefs. I've had to take action. I've had to identify with like new things. I've had to become a new person. I've had to do a lot of things. And often when most of us like start on our, self-improvement or personal development or our, spiritual journeys, or our conscious paths of growth, we tend to get too focused on the outer world and not focused enough on the inner world. And so instead of trying to change internally to force external change, right? Because if I like now, if there's a ball here, a ball has to be here. It's a mirror. Instead of trying to change internally, right? Change this to force what the mirror shows, people try to change externally. to force internal change. This doesn't work too well. I think we've all had, I think we've all done this. And I feel like this is basically just like a perfect, like analogy for the loving approach versus the egoic approach. This is like the realized approach, right? The enlightened approach. And this is the egoic approach. Because breaking a mirror, right? Let's say like we have our heart here. Breaking this heart into a million different hearts, right? Into a million like tiny little pieces. So I can like turn around, distort it, and then get like an upside down heart or some shit. If that's what I wanted, it would take so much fight against my internal self, right? Do you understand how much you have to fight against your internal state to like force you're trying to force an internal change through external actions, which means that you're constantly fighting who you are internally, which means you're constantly fighting friction. There's a force that's stopping you, that's getting in your way. You can't flow, you can't get consistent, you can't create easily because you're not actually aligned with who you truly are. And so you're not able to use the flow of your authenticity because you're fighting against the stream. You're fighting up against the current instead of flowing with the current. And so instead of trying to change externally, trying to manipulate the mirror to change internally, right? Instead of fighting against the current, just flow with the current. Shift your internal, and your external will be forced to change because it will have to reflect what your internal is now showing. So hopefully you have a good idea now of what the mirror principle kind of looks like. And so why does this like Jaden, you're doing a whole lot of blabbing. Why the fuck does this even matter? Well, I'll tell you why it matters. Let me ask you a question. What is your desired reality? Let me know. Maybe you want to be a 100K per month entrepreneur. That's one of my goals. Maybe you want to be a polymath. That's also one of my goals. If you guys don't know polymath, poly means many. Math means learning. So polymath basically means like many learning, many disciplines. So a polymath is someone like Da Vinci, a Renaissance man. And this is actually why my channel is kind of like themed around like the Renaissance man. I call my free community, my newsletter, if you guys are interested in joining that. I do weekly emails and I'm trying to get back up to daily emails for creators, but my free community slash like newsletter where I like have my community where you can like connect with each other and like get my emails. That's the first thing in the description if you're interested in that. It's called Digital Renaissance Creators and it's themed around the Renaissance man. But you know, I'm not exclusive to men here, so creator instead of Renaissance man or Renaissance women, because there are plenty of Renaissance women as well. But I love like I've always loved I've never been one to fit in a box. I'm gonna just say that. Like I have my Bible and my Bhagavad Gita right next to each other. So I think if you see that, you're like, oh, okay, huh. Christian scriptures, Hindu scriptures, right next to each other. Yes, they are. I've never been one to fit in a box. Never. Okay? And so I like having many disciplines. I like, I love art. I love creating. I have my, brain, work please. I have like this little art book here, and I actually made like a vlog for a week themed around this book called Create 365, because it's kind of like what the book's called. And it was basically a challenge of creating every single day. And that's what I love to do. Like, I'm a creator. I'm an artist. I'm a content creator. I'm a value creator. As entrepreneurs, we're value creators. We create value, and then we trade value. We give that value, and we receive money in exchange. But I've never been one to fit in a box. I love learning about a lot of things. I love doing a lot of things. And so I love being a polymath. I love seeking the arts. I love seeking science. I love learning about spirituality and metaphysics. I love going on walks and runs, and I'm trying to get into fitness more, and I'm drawing more, I'm creating more, I'm a content creator, I'm an entrepreneur. I do so many things because that's who I am. That's what I love to do. So that was a kind of a rant, but that's a bit more about me. And being a polymath in terms of like being an artist, making art that I'm proud of consistently, being a super tapped in mystic, being 100K per month entrepreneur, continuing in my spiritual scientist evolution, being a husband, being a father. These are things that are a part of my desired reality. And so this is the life I want to create. Okay, cool, awesome. So how do we backtrack from here? So, I told you guys that I've been on my personal development journey for about 15 months. So last July, I basically decided, I was like, yo, I'm fucking sick. I'm sick of like feeling like I'm a piece of shit, basically. I was sick of having like absolutely obscene mental health for the past 5 years, like 2019 to like 2023 was super down bad for me, like super down bad for me. And I was like super addicted to porn, super addicted to video games, super addicted to weed. I'm still having I'm still on that journey, with those vices. I'm really trying to get into like a conscious relationship with weed now. I've tried to have like this black and white, no weed, no weed, no, I don't smoke anymore. I don't think that's really how I work. I personally do enjoy cannabis. I enjoy what it allows me to do, what it allows me to experience. I do feel like there's a like certain connection to oneness, to God, to the divine. I feel more tapped into my body. I feel more in my heart. I feel more connected to oneness, to the collective when I'm experiencing cannabis. And I feel like that's a vehicle I use to connect, and it's a vehicle that I can use to connect. Not to say that it's the only vehicle, and that's definitely a realization I've had to come to over the past few days, especially. But it's like, when I'm feeling called to smoke cannabis, it's like, I see that I enjoy using this as a vehicle for creativity, for creation, for connecting. But just because it can be used for that doesn't mean I have to use it when desire comes. Maybe that desire is just there to call me to realize that I can connect to God, or I can create without it, without cannabis, you know what I mean? But, with video games, I don't really play video games anymore. Don't care. I play Business now. Business is the best game ever. Honestly, with porn, it's like, that's iffy. I'm gonna be straight. Like, I've consumed porn fairly recently. But when it comes to that, it's more of like a, intention to kind of just like release sexual energy, even though now I'm like really getting back on retention, because I want to really harness and cultivate that, transmute that. I feel like I made my best progress when I was like 2 months on retention back in July, and it was pretty sick. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with my journey. But I told you guys that because back in July last year, when I decided that I was gonna get on this, I started this YouTube channel, JC Dubs, and I basically stopped watching content from my first YouTube channel that I made my first few videos on. I don't think I've said that in this video, no. But yo guys, I've been on YouTube for like mad long, bro. Posted my first YouTube video February 24th, 2012. I've been in this game for 12 years, I made over 500 videos in my days. But when I decided that I wanted to be a new person, right? Get on this personal development, self-improvement, my spiritual journey. I was like, okay. Back then, I wasn't like conscious that I was on my spiritual path yet. That didn't happen until about December when I actually read this book, The Way of the Superior Man. And then this led me back to spirituality. And then I got back into my Christian roots eventually. That led me to mystical Christianity. And I've also been into Hindu and yoga as well over the past year from a fellow YouTuber. His name is Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG, and he's all about merging science and spirituality for health, mental health. And so that's kind of been my spiritual journey the past year. I wasn't like super conscious of it when I got on my personal development journey, but it's like around December, I finished this book for the second time, and then I got back into my Christian roots, and then I really dove head deep into my spirituality around April/May, which is when I started really getting into mystical Christianity, more into Hindu, and now I want to learn more about Christianity, mystical Christianity. I'm learning more about the Bible, about like the history of the Bible. I want to learn more about Hindu. I want to read the Bhagavad Gita. I have the Tao Te Ching on my Kindle as well. I'm very big into kind of like holistic religion, but more like holistic philosophy. Like I told you guys, I don't like being put in a box. I like to identify as a mystical Christian or as a Christian mystic because 1, Christianity is my root. 2, Jesus is my guy. Always love Jesus. And I resonate heavily with mystical Christianity. But I love what I've learned from Taoism so far. I've loved what I've learned from Hindu, yoga, and Buddhism. I love what I've learned from just like other metaphysical concepts. I've loved what I've learned from Hermeticism. All these different philosophies or spiritual practices, spiritual philosophies or, theologies, religions, whatever. They all give me perspectives that allow me to create a holistic perspective that feels true to me. So that was a rant. But basically, what was the point of that rant? Let's talk about it. So what is your desired reality? Okay, I want you to think about that. Keep that conscious. I'm going to draw something for you, or I'm going to write something for you. Got my little pocket notebook. Always got a pocket notebook on me, gang. If y'all don't got a pocket notebook, check out my last video from yesterday about 3 reasons every single creator should be carrying a pocket notebook in 2025, all right? So, okay. Let's go like this. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Let's go like this. So we got programming, which leads to thoughts. Thoughts will lead to emotionally charged thoughts. Emotionally charged thoughts will lead to emotionally charged actions. Actually, you know what? Let me get this down here, actually. Go like this. Emotionally charged actions will lead to emotional conviction. And this maintained emotional conviction will lead to back into program. Okay, nice. Let's get that out of here. So, here we have what I like to call the cycle of reality creation. So we can like put that up here if we want. Cycle of reality creation. Okie doke. So, in the cycle of reality creation, we start with programming. Your programming is your subconscious beliefs. It is what you believe to be true about the world and about yourself. So your programming is basically tied to your internal state, and it's what you believe about yourself and what you believe about your world. So it's your identity, your self-perception, and it's your paradigm. It's your world perception. So that's basically what's important about the internal state, okay, the programming. This programming will lead to thoughts. It'll create thoughts, okay? You know, if you're this is making me annoyed, there we go. Before I was an entrepreneur, all right, so before I got on my journey last July, you know, back in July, I didn't tell you guys this, but let me tell you guys this now. I started consuming business content. I started consuming more science content. Basically, last July when I started this new YouTube channel so I can consume new content that was separate from like all the bullshit entertainment content that I was watching on my first channel, like the channel I've had for fucking 12 years. I basically only followed entrepreneurs and scientists. That's basically it. And like other like creators basically. So creators, entrepreneurs, and scientists were basically the only people I followed on this new channel when I started back in July. So it was people like Andrew Huberman, Dr. K from Healthy Gamer GG. Those were my two main scientists. Alex and Layla Hormozy, entrepreneurs. Chris Sturmey from First Man, entrepreneur / like self-improvement, personal development guy. Captain Sinbad, he's a personal development guy, filmmaker. So I was starting to program myself with people who I wanted to be more like. Entrepreneurs, scientists, creators, okay? These are people that I aspire to be like, right? I wanted to start getting into business. I wanted to learn more about myself and about the world so I can have unfucked mental health and so I could help other people. Like I genuinely, here's the thing guys. So I went to college for a year, right? And I was like, after the first semester, I literally like, I basically, so my college journey, I went, right? I'm going to sum this up real quick. I went to college. I majored in physics when I went to college for the first semester. Go to class for like the first like 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks, I start skipping classes that aren't physics and calculus, okay? Now, about a month and a half in, I'm basically skipping every class that isn't physics and calculus. Then I meet this girl. Let's call her Jessica. Jessica's a very important character in Jaden's story. Meet Jessica, we start fucking around, we start getting into each other, right? Blah, 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 blah. Now, because I'm hanging out with Jessica, I'm skipping classes that, now I'm starting to skip calculus, okay? Then eventually, after like another month, I'm skipping every class, I'm not even going to class. Then, fast forward to December, fast forward to January, Jessica and I, like, we were messing with each other, like, on and off, and then she was like, hey, I want to be friends, and now she's got a boyfriend, and so I'm like, oh, okay, so you didn't want to be with me, but you want to be with him. So I'm a piece of shit. Okay, cool. Then I got super fucking depressed. So I already wasn't going to class the first semester. But second semester, I was like, yo, I'm trying to like change my life, like new me, like new year, new me shit, you know what I mean? I was like trying to get sober off like weed and porn back then. This was like the end of 2022, right? And I was like, all right, I'm about to be out here. And then January 17th rolls around. She tells me about like this new nigga, and it's like, oh, well, who cares about anything? Who cares about life? I don't care about myself. Fuck everything. And so I gave up on myself. And so I I basically like just didn't even go to class. I went to class for like, I think I went to 2 classes the first week of the second semester, and then I never went back to class again. Moral of the story is, second semester, I actually decided that I wanted to change majors from physics to sociology because I was very interested in like becoming a social worker, a therapist. I've always loved helping people. I've always loved engaging in conversation. I've always loved being a very active listener. I've always loved being able to help people with my advice. I've always been the friend to lean on. I've always been the ear to come to listen, right? That's always just who I've been. And that's why I'm a coach now, because I love to listen. I love to speak. I love to teach. I love to impact people. I'm so emotionally available. I have space to hold, right? I have masculine presence. I have the ability to not only use my masculine presence to hold space, but it's also use my feminine presence to connect and to feel and to have people understand that I can meet them where they're at. That's why I feel like I'm so great for like the business I'm pursuing. But no longer hyping my head. What was the point of that story? Well, I kind of got to the end of my college year and I was like, well, I'm fucked in the head, but I want to help people. So how can I help others unfuck themselves if I'm fucked first? Probably got to do something about that, right? And so me helping other people, like helping myself, was the prerequisite, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna change my life. And so back then I was living in New Jersey. That's where I'm from. I've actually been considering going back to New Jersey, and I might, but I'm currently living in Georgia with my dad. So I decided to come down here after college, and in July, that's when I came down here and I started this, right? Made that new YouTube channel, scientists, entrepreneurs, creators, new programming, so I could start becoming the person that I wanted to become. And so I decided to get this new programming. This new programming was creating thoughts, right? And so we start with programming. Programming leads to thoughts. Thoughts just come up, you know? The thing is, you know, like in the space of manifestation, you know, metaphysics, spirituality, stuff like that, we all say like thoughts create our reality. Your mind creates your reality. Thoughts, 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 thoughts. This is true. However, it's not like every single thought gets materialized into the physical plane. And so what is it? It's the emotional charge. Emotional conviction is truly how you materialize. It's truly how you manifest. It's not about the technique you're using, journaling or like affirmations or vision boards or meditation or visualization or whatever it is. It doesn't matter about the technique. The technique is merely a vehicle. The vehicle can't move if it doesn't have fuel. You are the fuel. And so when you have emotional conviction, right, emotions are your fuel. Emotion is the language of God. God doesn't speak English. God doesn't speak Hebrew or Aramaic or Greek or Swahili or Italian or fucking Cambodian or whatever. I don't know if that's the language of Cambodia. Whatever. God don't speak no languages. God speaks emotion. Emotion is the language of God. That is why, you know, when you feel good, that means you're in alignment with the law of one. You're in alignment with how God created you, with how God perceives you, with how God believes you should be living authentically, with how God created you to live authentically. When you're in a high frequency, when you're feeling good, when you're in a positive emotion, a positive mood, it's because you're living in alignment with your authenticity and how the Creator created you. When you don't feel good, it's because you're living in misalignment. I'm going to make a whole nother video about that. That's law of one territory. We're going to get there. Not this video. This video is already too long and we still got a bit more to go. So your emotion is what truly gives you the fuel to create your reality. And so what you need to do is have emotion behind these thoughts. And when you have emotionally charged thoughts, those emotionally charged thoughts will start creating emotionally charged actions. See, the thing is, guys, when I started like learning so much about YouTube and so much about business, right? I started trying to like do things. I started trying to like take action on YouTube and like stuff like that, trying to learn. But I didn't actually start creating my reality until I had true emotional conviction. And this is not easy to get to. So when I first started on my business journey back in December of last year, I was in a mentorship program from a fellow YouTube creator. His name is Hamza Ahmed, who is like a self-improvement YouTuber, and I learned a fuck ton from Hamza about self-improvement and business. And basically, I joined Hamza's program, his mentorship program, and I learned a lot about YouTube, about business, about mindset, and about basically all the things I needed. But I still had disbelief. I didn't believe in myself. I had so much inner work that I still had to do. And because I didn't actually have conviction. I didn't have true belief in myself that I could create that reality, that I could be the person who attracts subscribers on YouTube, who attracts clients, right? Who can make money online. The inner work is more important, like I told you guys earlier. You can't just change around the mirror. You got to change what the mirror is reflecting, you. And so getting to that true emotional conviction is really the most important part. But the first step of that is the programming, right? All of this, right? You can only get to emotional conviction, what gets to this, if you start here, okay? And so we could talk about all these other things, but none of these things are that important, right? Because if you're a beginner, this is the most important part. And the thing is, if you just focus on this, everything else will follow, right? Because you have to be the person who does the thing in order to have the thing. It is be first, do second, have third. And your being comes from your programming. And so if you're just the person who does the thing, it'll be easy to do the actions. And if you do the actions, you'll have the reality. And so if you start with being the person by programming new beliefs, new mindsets, by doing the inner work to change your emotional state, that is what is really going to get you the money. Now I'll tell you this last story and then we'll wrap up. When I was actually like starting to get consistent back in May in like my content creation journey, so I started my 101 days of daily uploads from May 15th to August 24th. I started them on May 15th, right? And so in about a couple weeks in, I made my first sale on June 12th. So about a couple weeks in, I still hadn't made any money online. And I had made this video, I think talking about purpose or something like that and how I had fulfillment, but I was still, broke and I hadn't made any money online yet, right? And so someone had commented and he was like, yo, Jaden, awesome video, like keep up the great work. But the first step to not being broke anymore is to stop viewing yourself as broke, is to stop perceiving yourself as broke. And I was like, I'd heard stuff like that before, but this time it really sunk in because I was like, damn, bro, you're right. I have been calling myself broke. And by calling myself broke, I'm having thoughts of that. I'm charging those thoughts with emotion. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And since I'm calling myself broke, I'm taking actions that a broke person would take, which is as soon as I get money, it goes right back out, which means I have the conviction that I'm broke, which means I create the reality that I'm broke. See how it's a cycle? This can be a very dangerous cycle. This is why you have downward spirals and upward spirals, because the cycle is going to stay the cycle. And so it's only a matter of if you're willing to break out of one cycle, right, the downward cycle, to jump to the upward cycle. But basically, once I stopped telling myself I was broke, and I instead started focusing on my abundance. I started focusing on the fact that I had immense love for myself, for God, for my work. I had immense fulfillment from purpose, from creating every day, from showing up for myself, from doing the hard work, right? From service. I had immense love. I had immense fulfillment. I had immense gratitude for the things I was able to do. And because of that, I was raising my internal frequency because of these high emotional state. And because of that high frequency, it attracted a reality that matched that frequency, a reality where I would grow 1,000 subscribers in 2 months, where I made my first $1,600 online by signing 9 clients in 2 months. I did all those things in that short amount of time because I was at the frequency to attract those things. And then when I got to that frequency and I attracted those things, I started getting in my head and I started not believing I had the emotional conviction. And that created a reality of, oh shit, I can't do this, blah, 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 self-sabotage. And that's what I've been coming out of after the past 2.5, 3 months. So that's where I'm at now after, you know, going through this cycle. But this is the cycle of reality creation, guys. This is the most important thing, right? Understanding the mirror principle and understanding how your programming will eventually lead to your materialized reality. That's what's important. And so when I asked you guys earlier about what is your desired reality, align your programming with your desired reality, right? I've recently been trying to get more into art, and so I've been I don't really use Instagram much, but yesterday I was like, damn, I should probably get Instagram so I can like look at art journaling and stuff like that. And so if I want to hop and like if I want to be inspired by like visual like illustration, I need to see more illustration. I basically like 99% of the content that I personally consume, maybe like 95% of the content I personally consume is video/audio. And so I don't really take in much written medium through books. I don't really take in much like visual medium through like drawings or paintings or stuff like that. And since I'm not taking those things in, being inspired by those, I'm not creating from those. You know, I made a tweet called "Create from What You Consume." I'm gonna make a video about this as well, but I love making videos, especially like long form content, because I watch long form content. I watch long form YouTube videos. This is the kind of stuff I like to watch. So it's the kind of stuff I like to create. You will like to create what you like to consume, more than likely, right? If you like to read, you're probably more of a writer. If you like to listen, you're probably more of a speaker, right? If you like to, you know, if you're really enamored by illustration, by drawings, by paintings, you might be an illustrator, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what your medium is or how you deliver it, as long as you're creating. That's what matters. As long as you're creating, that's all I care about. So this is it, guys. This is the cycle of reality creation. And, you know, now I'm getting more like art onto my feed, more art on my YouTube feed, on my Instagram feed. I'm actually trying to get more art on my Twitter feed as well. I'm trying to make Twitter cooler for me. I'm basically only on like business Twitter, which I feel like, which is why Twitter kind of sucks for me. Like I'm not on spirituality Twitter. I'm not on art Twitter. I'm not on like it's just business. I love business, but it's one-sided, right? It's one-sided, and that's not me. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'm gonna sign this off here because I'm not gonna lie, I gotta take a shit, so I'm about to go. I want to invite you guys once again, join my free newsletter in the description. It's the first link in the description. Come join up. You can come interact, and you can also like reply. You can shoot me an email, ask me any questions you have. I'll personally make you a newsletter or a video or both. So if you got anything like that, leave me like shoot me an email, even leave me a comment. Leave me a comment down below what newsletters or videos you'd like me to create. All right. My name is Jaden. I'm here building a community of creators, conscious creators, spiritual creators, entrepreneurs, people who want to spread love, spread education, spread abundance, spread fulfillment, freedom, authenticity, people who want to reach financial independence, doing what we love every single day, helping others, serving others, connecting with God, deepening our relationships, just creating a more free life, a more beautiful, a more happy, a more free, a more abundant life. That's what I'm about. So if that's something that interests you, if you want to be more about that, I'd love to invite you to come join us community. Drop a sub, share, keep growing up our movement, baby, all right? And if you're interested in learning more or working closer with me, you can check out my creator store. It's the second link in the description, okay? Yeah, that's all I got. Appreciate all the love and support, guys, like always. Do it today, be better for tomorrow. Stay blessed, stay loving. I'll catch you on next video. Dubs out. Buckets. Sheet.